What a terrible way to start the video. This is so close. Anyway, so I'm reading this book, The End of Faith by Sam Harris. So I'm going to just start where I left off. The problem for first century Christians was simple. They belonged to a sect of Jews that had recognized Jesus as the Messiah, while the majority of their co-religions had not. Jesus was a Jew, of course, and his mother a Jewess. His apostles to the last man were also Jews. There is no evidence whatsoever apart from the tendentious writings other than a Jew among Jews seeking the fulfillment of Judaism, and likely the return of Jewish sovereignty in a Roman world. As many authors have observed, the numerous strands of Hebrew prophecy that were made to coincide with Jesus' ministry betray the apologetics and often poor scholarship of the gospel writers. The writers of Luke and Matthew, for instance, in seeking to make the life of Jesus conform to Old Testament prophecy, insist that Mary conceived as a virgin, harking to the Greek rendering of Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14. Unfortunately for fanciers of Mary's virginity, the Hebrew word alma simply means young woman, without any implication of virginity. It seems all but certain that the Christian dogma of the virgin birth and much of the church's resulting anxiety about sex was the result of a mistranslation from the Hebrew. Another strike against the doctrine of the virgin birth. Let me start that over, but let me hit this real quick. Another strike against the doctrine of the virgin birth is that the other evangelists, Mark and John, seem to know nothing about it, though both appear troubled by accusations of Jesus' illegitimacy. Paul apparently thinks that Jesus is the son of Joseph and Mary. He refers to Jesus as being born of the seed of David according to the flesh. That is in Romans chapter 1, verse 3, meaning Joseph was his father, and born of woman. That was from Galatians chapter 4, verse 4, meaning that Jesus was really human, with no reference to Mary's virginity. Mary's virginity has always been suggestive of God's attitude towards sex. It is intrinsically sinful, being the mechanism through which original sin was bequeathed to the generations after Adam. It would appear that Western civilization has endured 2 millennia of consecrated sexual neurosis simply because the authors of Matthew and Luke could not read Hebrew. For the Jews, the true descendants of Jesus and the apostles, the dogma of the virgin birth has served as a perennial justification for their persecution because it has been one of the principal pieces of evidence demonstrating the divinity of Jesus. We should note that the emphasis on miracles in the New Testament, along with the attempts to make the life of Jesus conform to Old Testament prophecy, reveal the first Christians' commitment, however faltering, to making their faith seem rational. Given the obvious significance of any miracle and the widespread acceptance of prophecy, it would have been only reasonable to have considered these purported events to be evidence for Christ's divinity. Augustine, for his part, came right out and said it. Quote, "I should not be a Christian but for the miracles." A millennium later, Blaise Pascal, mathematical prodigy, philosopher, and physicist, was so impressed by Christ's confirmation of prophecy that he devoted the last years of his short life to defending Christian doctrine in writing. Through Jesus we know God. All those who have claimed to know God and prove his existence without Jesus Christ have only had futile proofs to offer. But to prove Christ, we have the prophecies which are solid and palpable proofs. By being fulfilled and proved true by the event, these prophecies show that these truths are certain and thus prove that Jesus is divine. Solid and palpable? That's so nimble a mind could be led to labor under such dogma was surely one of the great wonders of the age. Even today, the apparent confirmation of prophecy detailed in the New Testament is offered as the chief reason to accept Jesus as the Messiah. The leap of faith is really a fiction. No Christians, not even those of the first century, have ever been content to rely upon it. While God had made his covenant with Israel and delivered his son in the guise of a Jew, the earliest Christians were increasingly Gentile. And as the doctrine spread, the newly baptized began to see the Jews' denial of Jesus' divinity as the consummate evil. This sectarian ethos is already well established by the time of Paul. It says, "For ye, brethren, became followers of the churches of God which in Judea are in Christ Jesus. For ye also liked things of your own countrymen, even as they have of the Jews, who both killed the Lord Jesus and their own prophets, and have persecuted us. And they please not God, and are contrary to all men, forbidding us to speak to the Gentiles that they might be saved, to fill up their sins alway. For the wrath is come upon them to the uttermost." That is from Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 14 through 16. The explicit demonization of the Jews appears in the Gospel of John, where it says, "Jesus said unto them," the Jews, "If God were your Father, ye would love me, for I proceeded forth and came from God. Neither came I of myself, but he sent me. Why do ye not understand my speech? Even because ye cannot hear my word. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar, and the father of it. And because I tell you the truth, ye believe me not." That is from John chapter 8, verses 41 through 45. With the destruction of the temple in 70 CE, Christians, Gentile and Jew alike, felt that they were witnessing the fulfillment of prophecy, imagining that the Roman legions were meting out God's punishment to the betrayers of Christ. Anti-Semitism soon acquired a triumphal smugness, and with the ascension of Christianity as the state religion in 312 CE, with the conversion of Constantine, Christians began openly to relish and engineer the degradation of world Jewry. That's a weird world. You're talking about of Jews, like of all Jewness, basically. Laws were passed that revoked many of the civic privileges previously granted to Jews. Jews were excluded from the military and from holding high office, and were forbidden to proselytize or to have sexual relations with Christian women, both under penalty of death. The Justinian Code in the 6th century essentially declared the legal status of the Jews null and void, outlawing the Mishnah, the codification of Jewish oral law, and making disbelief in the resurrection and the Last Judgment a capital offense. Augustine, ever the ready sectarian, rejoiced at the subjugation of the Jews and took special pleasure in the knowledge that they were doomed to wander the earth bearing witness to the truth of Scripture and the salvation of the Gentiles. The suffering and servitude of the Jews was proof that Christ had been the Messiah after all. Like witches, the Jews of Europe were often accused of incredible crimes, the most prevalent of which has come to be known as the blood libel. Born of the belief that Jews require the blood of Christians for use in a variety of rituals. Throughout the Middle Ages, Jews were regularly accused of murdering Christian infants, a crime for which they were duly despised. It was well known that all Jews menstruated, male and female alike, and required the blood of a Christian to replenish their lost stores. They also suffered from terrible hemorrhoids and oozing sores as a punishment for the murder of Christ, and as a retort to their improbable boast before the innocent Pontius Pilate. His blood be on us and on our children. It should come as no surprise that Jews were in the habit of applying Christian blood as a salve upon these indignities. Christian blood was also said to ease the labor pains of any Jewess fortunate enough to have it spread upon pieces of parchment and placed into her clenched fists. It was common knowledge, too, that all Jews were born blind, and that when smeared upon their eyes, Christian blood granted them the faculty of sight. Jewish boys were frequently born with their fingers attached to their foreheads, and only the blood of a Christian could allow this pensive gesture to be broken without risk to the child. Once born, a Jew's desire for Christian blood could scarcely be slaked. During the rite of circumcision, it took the place of consecrated oil. And later in life, Jewish children of both sexes had their genitalia smeared with the blood of some poor pious man waylaid upon the road and strangled in a ditch to make them fertile. Medieval Christians believed that Jews used their blood for everything from a rouge to a love filter and as a prophylactic against leprosy. Given this state of affairs, who could doubt that Jews of all ages would be fond of sucking blood out of Christian children with quills and small reeds for later use by their elders during wedding feasts? Finally, with a mind to covering all their bases, Jews smeared their dying brethren with the blood of an innocent Christian babe and said, "If the Messiah promised by the prophets has really come, and he be Jesus, may this innocent blood ensure for you eternal life." The blood libel totters on shoulders of other giant misconceptions, of course, especially the notion, widely accepted at the time, that the various constituents of the human body possess magical and medicinal power. This explains the acceptance of similar accusations leveled at witches, such as the belief that candles made from human fat could render a man invisible while lighting up his surroundings. One wonders just how many a thief was caught striding through his neighbor's foyer in search of plunder, bearing a malodorous candle confidently aloft, before these miraculous tools of subterfuge fell out of fashion. But for sheer Gothic absurdity, nothing surpasses the medieval concern over host desecration, the punishment of which preoccupied pious Christians for centuries. The doctrine of transubstantiation was formally established in 1252 at the Fourth Lateran Council, the same one that sanctioned the use of torture by inquisitors and prohibited Jews from owning land or embarking upon civil or military careers, and therefore became the centerpiece of the Christian, now Catholic, faith. The relevant passage from the Profession of Faith of the Roman Catholic was cited in chapter 2. Henceforth, it was an indisputable fact of this world that the communion host is actually transformed at the Mass into the living body of Jesus Christ. After this incredible dogma had been established by mere reiteration to the satisfaction of everyone, Christians began to worry that these living wafers might be subjected to all manner of mistreatment and even physical torture at the hands of heretics and Jews. Could there be any doubt that the Jews would seek to harm the Son of God again, knowing that his body was now readily accessible in the form of defenseless crackers? Historical accounts suggest that as many as 3,000 Jews were murdered in response to a single allegation of this imaginary crime. The crime of host desecration was punished throughout Europe for centuries. It is out of this history of theologically mandated persecution that secular anti-Semitism emerged. Even explicitly anti-Christian movements, as in the case of German Nazism and Russian socialism, managed to inherit and enact the doctrinal intolerance of the church. Astonishingly, ideas as spurious as the blood libel are still very much with us, having found a large cult of believers in the Muslim world. I'm going to pause for the cause so I can take a little sip of my coffee. So if you're just wondering, well, it's only 6 of y'all now. It was 13 of y'all at one point. But if you're wondering what I'm reading, it's called The End of Faith, Religion, Terror, and the Future of Reason by Sam Harris. So if you don't know who Sam Harris is, first of all, I'm going to just put it like this. Like, of all the opinions, of all the books that Sam Harris writes, I only am concerned about his books on the subject of religion. Like, I'm not really concerned about his opinions on really any other subject matter, really. It's just religion. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, because he makes such compelling arguments for the case that there is no God. He makes such compelling arguments for the case that all religions are full of shit, really. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, he makes really good, educated, logical arguments. And if you're interested, actually, you can see his videos right here on YouTube. Like, you can go and just type in a Sam Harris debate. You know what I'm saying? Because he also debated, I can't think of the father. The particular debate I'm thinking of was like him and like this other religious dude. But he also debated what's the fucking idiot's name? Jordan Peterson. He also debated Jordan Peterson on the subject of God. Killed Jordan Peterson, bruh. Killed him. But yeah, Jordan Peterson ain't that smart. Like, he just uses academic language, which, if you're not very smart or educated, could fool the you know what I'm saying, the average person. They'd be like, oh, he using big words and shit. He must know what he's talking about. He don't. He just know that if he uses them, you won't know what he's talking about, and you'll just believe what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so Sam Harris debated his ass and killed him on the debate. So that's what I got. The End of Faith, Religion, Terror, and the Future of Reason by Sam Harris. If you want to know what I'm reading, it's a really good book. It's not that deep. Like, I mean, it's deep, but like it's not that big a book. Like, it's let me see, it's 221 pages, so it's not that big. It's not that big a book, and I am on page 100, so not that many pages to go. Got like another 100 some pages. So, but yeah, so that's what this book is. You know, the motherfuckers always be trying to come in on my videos, leaving comments talking about, take the sweater off and shit, and what's with all the satanic symbols and shit. It's like, bruh, why don't you just do your own research? Like, all you gotta do is go to my home page. Like, just go to my profile, just go to my page, click, go to channel, and you'll see right there in the description or the bio, it says "Hail Satan." Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, it's a free country, you know what I'm saying? It's a secular country. So it just means that we're all allowed to worship who we want to worship or not worship whoever we don't want to worship. You know what I'm saying? Like, you free to be religious or not be religious, because this is America, and that's in the Constitution, that you are allowed to believe as you want to believe. You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, Christians feel like up on their fucking high horses, of course, that they just gotta tell you that you're wrong in what you believe, and you need to believe what I believe. And it's like, I don't want to believe that. Y'all believe crazy shit, like weird fucking. I mean, if you're gonna believe God and Jesus, then where does it end? Do you believe in the Easter Bunny and fucking the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus and elves up in the North Pole and flying reindeer? Anything else you believe? I mean, all that shit's just as fucking crazy as the shit y'all believe. You know what I'm saying? I ain't none of that shit rooted in science. None of it. Ain't none of it rooted in logic. All that shit is bogus as fuck. But y'all keep trying to get me to believe that shit. First of all, understand, I am 41 years old, son. 40 fucking one. Like, I was raised Christian. You know what I'm saying? My mama and them was Christian. My brothers, my grandparents, my uncles, aunts, everybody's a fucking Christian in my family. I was raised on that shit. I even tried to take it seriously. Like, in middle school, I tried to like stop reading, because I used to collect comic books and shit, but it was all like Image Comics, Marvel Comics, and all that shit's violence, and like just exploiting the woman figure and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I tried to get serious about it and like stop collecting comic books, stop watching violent shows, movies, and cartoons, stop cussing, like all that shit. And this is like 7th and 8th grade. Other Christians couldn't believe it. They was like, "What the fuck, bro? Like, you don't do none of that shit." And like, I was the weirdo. I'm like, I thought you was a Christian. Like, why aren't you doing this? Or are you just talking shit? Because I'm actually trying to live that life. You know what I'm saying? But again, it was middle school, and middle school was fucking brutal. I used to get bullied all the fucking time. And I'm like, well, where the fuck is God when I'm needing him now? Like, I'm getting slapped walking through the fucking halls of school and shit just by a bully and shit. Just pow, pow. Just kept slapping me and shit when we walking through the school. I was a punk ass, I'm not gonna lie. So I used to just let him do it. Where was God then? You know what I'm saying? This is when I was trying to be so devout or whatever. But it's like, where was he then? Where was you to save me from this soul-crushing humiliation? You know what I'm saying? As I'm walking through the school at like 12, 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? Where was God then? Why you couldn't step in and be like, man, stop slapping him and shit or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? And Christians would be like, oh, it's just a test of your faith. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. How about that? Test that, motherfucker. Y'all so high and mighty because you was born in America where Christianity is the #1 religion. Shut the fuck up. Because if you was born in fucking Pakistan or some shit, if you was born anywhere else in the world where some other religion is the dominant religion, that's what you would believe. If you was born over there in India or some shit, you'd be trying to convince me that I need to adapt Hinduism or some shit and that every other religion is wrong. That's what's wrong with all y'all religions. All of y'all think y'all right and the others are wrong. Get the fuck out of here, man. That's what all y'all so bogus. Like, if we could just fuck religion altogether, we could all just live in harmony without, you know what I mean? But nah, y'all want to worry about mystical, unproven, you know what I'm saying, bullshit to try to attribute that to your life. It's like, what about all the millions, thousands, hundreds of people over in them other poor countries that no matter how much they pray, no matter how much they do, their children are still going to die. You know what I'm saying? Period. Like, it's just going to happen. Sorry, you're praying to the wrong God. You know what I mean? It's like, get the fuck out of here. Y'all so up high and mighty only because you was born in a nation where Christianity is the number one religion. And it's not even the most popular religion in the world. You know what I'm saying? But again, if you was born in one of them other countries, you'll be trying to convince me that Muhammad is number one. That Allah is number one. Krishna is number one or some shit. You know what I'm saying? You'll be trying to convince me of that and trying to get me to believe that Jesus is the Son of God when over there they don't believe that much. They might believe in a Jesus, but not that he was the Son of God. He wasn't that important, you know. But hey, whatever. Y'all religions believe one thing, their religions believe another. Who's to say who's right? How about both y'all wrong, motherfucker? Ain't none of that shit, goddammit. Stop worrying about that bullshit. Anyway, but my thing is, I'm only saying this because I don't really care what you believe. I don't, like, at all. Believe what you want. Worship who you want to worship. You know what I'm saying? It's just stop trying to push your ideology onto me. Like, this is America. I can believe what I want to believe. Okay? Just like you can believe what you want to believe. I'm not on here in every video trying to constantly get you motherfuckers to convert to Satanism. You know what I'm saying? I say that's what I am, and I leave it at that. And then I continue having a good time, making my videos, having fun, whatever. But y'all motherfuckers be so in your feelings, like, oh, you got this shit on. What's that about? That means get in here and sit up on my fucking horse and fucking virtue signal about how holier than thou I am. It's like, man, shut the fuck up. Like, even that's in the Bible, but I don't see you abiding by that. It says, judge not, lest ye be judged yourself. So how about you stop judging me? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure there's plenty of moments in your life where I could point out and be like, hey, that's not very Christian of you. Hey, whoa, what are you doing? Would God approve of that? Would Jesus like you saying that? Would Jesus like you jerking your fucking meat to the Pornhub? Get the fuck out of here. It's like, stop virtue signaling. At least I'm real with my shit. You know what I'm saying? You're not real with yours. You know what I mean? I'm true with my Satanism. Hail Satan. Even though, again, I'm an atheistic Satanist, so I don't believe that there really is a Satan. There's not really a God. There's not really demons and angels, heaven and hell. I don't believe that shit. But I preach that shit. You know what I'm saying? I live by that shit. Y'all don't. Y'all got a whole Bible full of rules about how you supposed to live, and you ain't living by it. You ain't living that way. But you so quick to point out when another motherfucker ain't living that way, who don't even believe what you believe, make it so bad. Point that shit out to another motherfucker who claims to be Christian. When you see them fucking up, point it out. But to a motherfucker who claims straight up that he's Satanist, don't believe in Christianity at all, you keep trying to tell me I need to convert. Shut the fuck up. How about go read your own Bible, which I know you ain't read from front to back. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Anyway, the Holocaust. The National Socialism of all of us is anchored in uncritical loyalty in the surrender to the Führer that does not ask for the why in individual cases, in the silent execution of his orders. We believe that the Führer is obeying a higher call to fashion German history. There can be no criticism of this belief. That was Rudolf Hess in a speech June 1934. The rise of Nazism in Germany required much in the way of uncritical loyalty. Beyond the abject and religious loyalty to Hitler, the Holocaust emerged out of people's acceptance of some very implausible ideas. Heinrich Himmler thought the SS should have leeks and mineral water for breakfast. He thought people could be made to confess by telepathy. Following King Arthur and the Round Table, he would have only 12 people to dinner. He believed that Aryans had not evolved from monkeys and apes like other races, but had come down to earth from the heavens, where they had been preserved in ice from the beginning of time. He established meteorology. There it is. He established a meteorology division, which was given the task of proving this cosmic ice theory. He also thought he was a reincarnation of Heinrich I. Himmler was an extreme case. The picture is perhaps one of someone quite mad, but one of his characteristics was much more widely shared. His mind had not been encouraged to grow. Filled with information and opinion, he had no critical powers. I'm going to pause it right there. I'm kind of tired of reading this. I'll get back to it later. I don't feel like reading it on camera no more. But yeah, mostly because I done got myself all riled up about the whole, like, holier than thou shit with these fucking Christians. Like, never in my life have I seen any more people so hypocritical, yet so quick to point out other people's shortcomings. You know what I'm saying? If in fact they are shortcomings. Because if you don't believe in God and you don't try to follow the Bible or the teachings in the scripture or whatever, then it's not a shortcoming because you're not trying to do something and failing to do that. I'm doing exactly as I plan to do. You know what I'm saying? And what I plan to do is live a decent life, meaning I'm always helping people. I don't have a lot of money. In fact, I have no motherfucking money. In fact, you want to know how much money I got on me right now to my name? I got like, bruh, hold on. It was like $9 in my card. No, I spent that. All right, so I don't even have that. I got like $6. You know what I'm saying? I had 16, but I went and bought a pack of cigarettes. So I got like $6. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got. But I'm always helping people, man. Always. Man or woman, don't matter. I'm always giving people rides. I'm always giving people money. You know what I'm saying? Just cause. Like, if I got it and you need it, you can have it. Because that, first of all, that is the very essence of socialism. You know what I'm saying? To each, you know what I'm saying? Like, to each according to his need. You know what I'm saying? By those according to their ability. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and so if I got a little bit and you need this little bit, then you can have my little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what a real Satanist is about. A real Satanist stands up for the oppressed, stands up for the marginalized, and is an activist. That's why y'all be seeing me wear the little fucking rainbow wristband and shit. Motherfuckers always giving me shit for it. It's because I am an ally of that community. You know what I'm saying? Their struggle is my struggle, period. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gay or nothing, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't have to be gay to wear rainbows and shit and to fight for their causes and to fight for their rights. You know what I'm saying? Or to be an activist on their behalf. I don't have to be gay to do that. You know what I'm saying? Just like I would hope that you don't have to be black to fight for civil rights. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you can be a white person or any kind of other person really, and still have enough empathy to fight for someone else. You know what I'm saying? To take up their cause and fight on their behalf. You know what I mean? Because that's how we all move along. That's how we progress as a nation, as a people. We help each other out. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just, oh, well, I don't know what to tell you, you bitch. No, it's not about that. It's about helping each other. But because I don't think like you think, or I don't believe what you believe, oh, I'm damned. I'm cursed. I'm not worth it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, that don't make any sense. If you can live your entire life as a good, decent, egalitarian person, you know what I'm saying? Helping as much as you can, yet you just don't believe there's a God and refuse to worship one, but you do nothing but good in your entire life. You're telling me that your God would send that person to hell to torture and suffer for eternity just because they didn't accept some bullshit God who didn't really leave any evidence for proof of his existence. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is bullshit. But yeah, a murderer on death row, serial killer, he could come to Jesus that night before he's executed and he can go to heaven. It's like, y'all's religion is weird as fuck. It's weird and unfair. Like, it don't make no fucking sense. The fuck out of here, son. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, that's my point. It's like, can we all just get along? You know what I mean? You do what you do. I do what I do. Don't try to convince me to do what you're doing, because I'm not trying to convince you to do what I'm doing. I'll put it out there. If you inquire, I'll tell you. Like if I say, tell me some shit about Jesus, tell me some shit about the Bible, or what is this God you speak of? Then tell me. Then, you know what I'm saying? But until then, it's like, why do you keep trying to like get me to believe what you believe? Fuck what you believe, bro. Fuck what you believe. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, you can believe it. It makes you feel good. Cool, dog. You know what I mean? But I don't got to do that shit. And I just don't, and even if, you know what I'm saying, even if Satanism was the number one belief in the United States, we wouldn't try to force our beliefs on other people who don't think like us. We wouldn't be like, oh, well, well, first of all, I don't even know how to put this in that context because it's antithetical to what we believe. Like, for instance, how Christians try to make it seem like abortion is against God or whatever the fuck, even though it's in the Bible that you can do it. But whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like they're all like, oh, abortion is anti-God and all that shit. It's like, all right, well, if you think that, don't have an abortion then. Like, why are you trying to, because you think that, make someone who doesn't think that have to abide according to what you believe? It's like, get the fuck out of here. That's so bogus. It's like, and y'all take so for granted that Christianity, even if we were a theocracy, that would be the prevailing religion. Like, how do y'all know it wouldn't be like Catholicism or some other religion? You know what I'm saying? Like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all just assuming. And then y'all assuming it would be all right because you just believe that shit. Like, well, no. If it was a real theocracy, motherfucker, look what they doing in Afghanistan. You know what I'm saying? Like, just only the laws are Christian instead of, Muslim or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, only difference is the laws are Christian, but it still be just as strict. And why you thinking it's all cool now? It's like, all right, that's only because you only half-ass in the Bible, motherfucker, if that. But if they was to really put in the strict biblical laws, scripture in this country, you'll hate it too. You was like, hey man, I was only kind of fucking around with the religion. You know what I mean? I was still gonna like watch Marvel movies and get high and shit. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you thought you was. But you wanted a theocracy, so you can cut all that out. Don't touch yourself either. You can forget about jerking off. You can forget about looking at naked women. Just like whatever it is. Like you forget it, dog. You can forget it. Forget it. Like, yeah, so don't be careful what you wish for, because y'all might fuck around and get it. Man, what the fuck is at my door, bro? Is that the cat? Who at the door? Trying to read what y'all been saying. I mean, you put y'all messages up. Oh, no, but I see between y'all sad. But play, good morning. What's up? The amount of the things we read, hypocrites, for sure. Bro, I lived in Kansas before. Hell nah. That's what's up, focused intent. Oh, hold on. I just saw something else. Damn, I didn't get to see it. Hold on, let me pull it up. I don't know which button to hit. There you go. Too many people worrying about it. Everybody else except themselves. Thank you, bro. Like, get your shit in order before you try to worry about my shit. Motherfucker. The fuck? This is how I feel about Jesus. Jesus can suck my dick. You understand what I'm saying? God, too. Fuck your God. Straight up. Motherfuckers always be like, I don't know why you gotta wear that shirt though. I mean, you can believe what you want to believe. Why you gotta wear that? It's like, man, do you say that about Christians wearing crosses, motherfucker? Do you be like, oh, look, I understand you're Christian, but why you gotta wear a cross? Why you gotta put it all in my face like that? It's like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. And see, y'all so hypocritical. It's all right when y'all do it, but when anyone else do it, it's like, man, what's all that about? It's like, motherfucker, shut the fuck up. Is this America or not? Like, I'm allowed to do it just like you allowed to do it. Motherfuckers, kill me. Kill me. And you know how many motherfuckers, I done had a couple motherfuckers at work come up to me like, bro, are you really a Satanist? Or are you just like trolling people? I'm like, I don't know these people. Fuck these people. I ain't trolling shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm really a Satanist. I've been a Satanist for years. Okay. In honesty, probably like 2-3 years. I've been a Satanist for about 2 or 3 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, but yeah, I'm a Satanist. Like, all right, fuck these people in here, bro. In fact, nah, I wasn't trolling up until this one lady, right? There's this one lady that, like I said, I said this in an earlier video, but she had never once spoken to me at work. Not once. I was a new guy. Damn near everybody else at work spoke to me at least once, you know what I'm saying? But she never spoke to me. Not hi, not excuse me, none of that shit. One day I'm like, kind of like walking past her and she gonna stop me. I didn't really hear her. I heard her, but I thought she was talking to somebody else, so I just kept going. And she gonna like aggressively stop me, like, excuse me. And I'm like, damn, yes, ma'am. You know what I'm saying? Respectful, because you're an older lady. You're a different person. You're another person. You're another human being. So I'm gonna give you respect just because you're another human being. So every male, I don't give a fuck if you 9 years old or 79 years old, I'm gonna call you sir. You know what I'm saying? Just like if you're a female. You know what I'm saying? If you were a 6-year-old female or 66-year-old female, it's ma'am. That's just how I was raised. You know what I'm saying? And then the army kind of drove that in a little more. But I just like it. I think it's especially being a black dude in this country, like they automatically think you're dangerous. You know what I'm saying? But it kind of diffuses people. It kind of like brings the walls down some on people when they see you smile, and when they hear that you're polite and you use terms like sir and ma'am. Who was at the door? Lil P, is that you, Rosa Root? Who at the door? I don't know. How the fuck you doing? What's up, Mario? I was deep space. I'll start the channel soon. Hold on, dog. Why did the words go away? Like I want to just keep seeing the words. Just got a new job. Oh yeah, doing what? Ignorant people can't read vibes. You right. They sure can't, dog. Let's start a new church. First of all, I have no interest in that. If my main mission when I first started on YouTube, well, actually back when I was on like anyway. My main mission is to like collaborate with people who are like-minded. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to reach people, both people on the left and the right. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you're a socialist or a fucking MAGA Trump supporter or anywhere in between. Like, I don't care. Like, the way I look at it, we all on the same team. We are all proletariats. We are all the working class. Therefore, we all looked at the same. Even in Washington, the elites in Washington, the Republicans and the Democrats, the elites, the Nancy Pelosi's, the Chuck Schumers, the Kevin McCarthy's, you know what I'm saying, the Marjorie Taylor Greens. These people are in a class of their own. You know what I'm saying? And that's the owner, that's the rich class, the owner class, the bourgeois class. We are the working class. Any one of us who has to go and work for our money, we're the working class. That's everybody from me and you to fucking actors and basketball players and shit, because they got to go and do that work in order to get paid. You know what I'm saying? So we're all in the same class. You know what I mean? I don't care what your belief is. I don't care if you think the election was stolen from Trump or if you feel like Barack Obama was the best president in the history of presidents. I don't care what you think. Like, first of all, both of you are wrong. First of all. But second of all, we need to put that shit aside because we are all on the same team, okay? The only way we're going to materially improve all of our lives is if we come together and work together. You know what I'm saying? And so that was my point of even getting on social media. It's because, like I said, I'm an activist. Like, that's what being a member of the Satanic Temple is about activism. Now, it doesn't always mean, going and protesting and going to rallies and shit like that. But it doesn't not mean that either. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is part of it. But when you're not doing that, then in the meantime, you could be reading up and learning about the issues and different ways to solve those issues. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, so that's what I be doing in the meantime. Like, when I'm not making these videos or at work, I'm reading books. This ain't got really nothing to do with activism. It's just I'm anti-Christian. So I'm always reading material to like give me more weapons to fight back. Even though I don't really need much, but for people who are a little more educated, who maybe have a better argument, I want to have better weapons to defend against, because it's just, anyway, I can't argue logic with these people. But anyway, so that's what I do in the meantime. So in the meantime, I'm reading. I'm trying to familiarize myself with the issues from the local level to the national level to the international stage. You know what I'm saying? and seeing ways that I could be a better service. I don't want to just be another part of the problem. I don't want to go along with the neoliberal agenda, just keeping my head down, letting the fucking owner class just continue to wail against us. You know what I'm saying? Continue to just do what they want to us. Do whatever they want with our tax money while lying to us and telling us there's nothing they can do for us. Like, we can't give you health care. We can't give you free education. We can't give you better wages. We can't do any of that because all that shit costs money. And where is that money going to come from? I'm like, first of all, every single one of our issues in America could have been solved. Homelessness shouldn't be a problem. Hunger shouldn't be a problem. Illiteracy or anything like that shouldn't be a problem. Like people not having health care shouldn't be. None of these problems should exist. Not in the richest, most powerful country in the world. They just shouldn't. And the proof that we have the money to do it, just look at how much they're spending on the military just this year. Not last year, not the year before that, not the year before that, not the year before that. Just this year alone. Just 1 year, one calendar fiscal year. Look how much we spend on the military. And they tell us we ain't got the money. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, it just seems like every year we spend like a couple billion more than we spent the last year. We ain't even at war with nobody. War on terrorism is over, dog. Like, you know what I mean? But to keep it real, we ain't never been in a defensive mode. We ain't never been in defense position. What you trying to tell me? We've been in DEFCON 3 this entire time? Since like 2001? No. You know what I'm saying? Fuck out of here. Like, man, we're not in the business of defense. That's not what we do here. Like other countries, perhaps, like when they spend money on their militaries, it's for defense. Oh, yeah, because they have other more powerful countries to worry about. So they have to defend themselves. But when you are the bully, when you are the most powerful country, or one of the most powerful countries, who are you defending against? You are the bad guy. You are the creep in the night. You are what's lurking in the shadows. There's no one else. You are him. You know, you are the threat. Like, so we don't spend money on defense. We spend money on offense. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we do. We intervene in other brown people's countries, take their resources, and then forbid them from even benefiting even off of that resource. We take all the resources, murder them, and then lie to the American people to manufacture our consent for that behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we do. We need to spend money so we can keep fucking over other people. That's what we need to spend. That's what we spend our money on in the military. It's not defense. Who are we defending ourselves against? Al-Qaeda? Get the fuck out of here. ISIS? Get the fuck out of here. Them motherfuckers did one attack on us. One. How many attacks only on the United States soil has the right wing in America? You know what I'm saying? Like, how many of those attacks have been because of them? Oklahoma City. You know what I'm saying? While we talking about 9/11, like Oklahoma City was one of us. That was a white dude. You know what I'm saying? Who shot up the elementary school in Sandy Hook? Was that ISIS? No. You know what I'm saying? Fuck out of here. Who shot up all those people at the country music fucking festival out in Las Vegas that year? Was that ISIS? Was that some brown dude? No. Some white guy. Some well-to-do white guy. I mean, I really could keep on going. Y'all know this. Like, you know this. Like, you know I could keep on going. Like, all the major attacks in this country, for the most part, 99% of them, have been committed by white men who identify with the right wing or insurgency. Because the right wing, the Republicans are no longer a part. They're not interested in parliamentary politics. They're just not. The right wing in this country have abandoned all parliamentary politics and are now resemble more of a radical insurgency than a political party. And the Democrats, they so far to the right, they're basically what the Republicans of the 80s were. You know what I'm saying? So really there's no, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got one political party and it's on the right. Because the actual right wing is now not even they're not even interested in parliamentary politics. It's all how they feel about M&Ms and transgender athletes and Mr. Potato Head and Dr. Seuss. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, that's y'all's party for real, bro? Like, that's what y'all worried about? We don't even give a fuck about that shit. Like, us on the left, I mean. You know what I mean? Because I'm not a Democrat. I don't know how many times I got to say that. I am a socialist, period. Because I actually want people in power who give a fuck about everybody else and not just the rich. Because that's all the Democrats and Republicans in this country give a fuck about. They don't care about us regular workers. No, sir. No, sir. They only care about the rich. You know what I'm saying? The Republican Party more so than the Democrats. But still, both of them are equally culpable, in my opinion. They're both two sides of the same coin. That's why I don't identify with either one of them. Because I'm not a capitalist. I don't own means of production. I don't own no factory and all the machines and robotics that go on within that factory. You know what I'm saying? I don't own the computers and the software and shit. I don't own that shit. I'm not a capitalist. I am a proletariat. I just work. I just utilize those items to do my job, to make that capitalist more money. So that when all those profits start rolling in, he can get richer while still refusing to pay us, just God forbid, a living wage. Just a living wage. I'm not even trying to get rich. Just can I have enough to live? Because right now, the money I make from work is only enough to get me to work for the next week. You know what I'm saying? I get just enough to get from week to week, and maybe enough to to indulge in a vice or two. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I can buy a bag, and maybe a pack of cigarettes. But if I'm going to be really responsible, I can't do more than that. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to be able to put gas in the truck for the rest of the week. You know what I'm saying? And God knows whatever else might come up. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. So I'm not a capitalist and never will be, honestly. And you won't either, to be honest. Like, you're not going to be a capitalist. Like, if you don't already have the means, if you don't already own the means of production, chances are in your lifetime, you will never own the means of production. And therefore, you will always just be a laborer who's getting your labor exploited by someone who doesn't have to go to work every day. And unfortunately, too many people like you and me are just cool with that. We're just like, well, fuck it, I guess. That's just the way it is. What are you going to do about it? And just go with the flow. Like, no. See, I feel like them people on January 6th. I don't know how many times I've said this. Like, I feel like them. They were so pissed off with the way shit has been going. You know what I'm saying? Now, they shouldn't have done it that way. You know what I'm saying? And the reasons that they did it were bogus, stupid, fucking made up reasons. But nonetheless, they was angry enough, they believed it, to go do what they did. That's how I feel. Like, I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of being lied to. You know what I'm saying? And I'm tired of the rich continuing to get richer. Continuing to get richer while the rest of us continue to struggle. Like, that's not fair, especially when we do all the work. We do all the work, but we don't get any of the benefits from the profits. None of it. We don't get anything from it. But I'm not willing to keep doing it. They want us to just shut the fuck up, keep going to church, so they can keep telling you that everything happens for a reason and God will fix it in the end and blah, blah, blah. So you'll just shut the fuck up and just keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? Keep on shopping at Amazon. Doesn't matter how much, how badly he's exploiting his workers. God knows how bad Amazon workers have it. You know what I'm saying? But really, it doesn't. If you really just look hard enough, not even that hard, but if you just look a little bit, actually, you'll see how many people in this country are fed up with this shit. Like, they're fed up with the ravages of capitalism and neoliberalism. Like, we're sick of it. You know what I'm saying? Because neoliberalism only been around since 81. You know what I'm saying? I was born in 81. So I had to live, my entire existence has been under neoliberal policies implemented at first by Reagan. You know what I'm saying? Because capitalism's always been here. Well, not always. But after feudalism came capitalism. You know what I'm saying? And then while capitalism was in place, then a couple more years go by and here comes Reagan. And he institutes neoliberalism. And then now that's taken off. And we've been under the neoliberal period ever since. And that's why jobs been going overseas. That's why everything's everything's sky high. That's why education has gone down. Quality of life has gone down. That's why, like, people always talking about the good old days, like the 90s for some of us, the 80s for some of us, the 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, whatever time for you was a better time. It was probably because it was earlier in the neoliberal period, or before the neoliberal period. Because once neoliberalism took over, it was like, fuck the country, dude. Fuck poor people, fuck ailing people, people with mental illnesses, fuck them. Fuck the middle class, fuck the lower class. It's always been fuck the poor. I mean, that's just what neoliberalism does. Like, it doesn't care about people, but neither does capitalism. Capitalism is inherently evil, but at least it can be tamed to some degree, which is what the whole idea behind social democracy is. But I don't advocate for that, because that's like trying to have a more socialistic economy within a capitalist system. Capitalism's always going to beat out. It's always going to win out in that scenario. That's why I am for the complete abolition of capitalism. I want to install the very next logical step, which is socialism. You know what I'm saying? On our way to communism. That's what I'm about. That's what I'm for. And why am I for it? Why am I about it? Because I read about it. I read about what is socialism. I read about what is Marxism, what is communism, where has it been in the world, where was it implemented, did it work, and if it didn't, why didn't it work, and if it did, how so, and in what ways, was it corrupted? Because damn near every socialist experiment that you probably ever heard of was corrupted by America. It was probably doing just fine, but then once we realized that that country democratically elected a socialist. Oh, no. Send the troops in. Get that motherfucker out and install one of our puppet dictators. Thank you. That's what we do. We don't even allow them. The reason we don't allow it is because, God forbid, Americans get a taste of a government that actually works for its people and not just for the few fucking rich sons of bitches who sit at the top and just piss on the rest of us. Like, because that's what this economy is. You know what I'm saying? And that's why socialism was never given a chance to work, because America, as soon as we found out about that shit, we was like, nope, nah, son, go send the troops. Tell them that they're trying to like spread some evil, spooky boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the right really is best at. They're best at taking a word, completely changing what it means, and then making sure that its meaning is now negative. You know what I'm saying? Like CRT, for instance. CRT ain't shit. It's a college level, like that's just not taught in school. Like, it's not taught in elementary. It's not taught in middle school. It's not taught in high school. Maybe in some elite, privileged high schools where they have it, and maybe it's an advanced placement sort of, you know what I'm saying? But it's not regular curriculum. Like, that's college level shit. But because the right wing doesn't like it, they'll just completely change the meaning of it. Now, CRT is just anything that talks about black and white relations in any capacity. You know what I'm saying? That's CRT. And it's like, that's not what CRT is at all, but whatever, just because they want to demonize it so you don't learn anything about it. Because if the right wing is good at another thing, is making sure you don't learn anything. They want to make sure you don't go read nothing. They'd rather burn books than encourage you to go read one. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Like, so I advocate for socialism and communism because I actually read and I know what they mean. I know what they look like. And I know how they compare to a capitalist system, which clearly does not work. If it worked, we would not have so much homelessness, so much starvation. Our healthcare system wouldn't be so fucking pathetic. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there would be no fucking Skid Row in California. But because of capitalism, all this shit exists. Because of capitalism, motherfuckers is dying over treatable diseases and illnesses. Motherfuckers is dying due to exposure because they don't have money for a house. Even though they are increasingly, year after year, making it more and more impossible to live anywhere. Like, I can't afford a one-room bed, a one-bedroom apartment, a studio apartment. Like, I can't afford that nowhere in America. Like, come on, like, because they don't want to pay you enough to live. Like, so it's just ridiculous because capitalism says if you ain't got the money for it, you can go fuck off. And that's not what it's about, man. Socialism and communism doesn't give a fuck about the profit margin. It doesn't give a fuck about the profit margin. Capitalism or socialism and communism only cares about each other. Like, we only care about helping each other out. I want to make sure you good, I'm good, we can all be good. Some of us gonna be better than others because of our level of effort or expertise or knowledge or whatever the fuck, or just drive. You know what I'm saying? So some of us will do better. Socialism is not about making sure that we all make the same, we all have equal outcome. That's not what it's about. But again, that's what the right wing is good at. They're good at, again, taking a concept, completely changing the meaning of it, and making sure that that meaning is now a negative meaning, because they don't, God forbid, you do anything that challenges their power. Because I'm telling you, if you heard it on TV, you heard it from Fox, OAN, MSNBC, if any of these people complain about it, it's probably because that's something that we could use to take away some of their power. And therefore, it has to be just the worst thing in the world. Communism is the worst boogeyman. Socialism is the worst boogeyman. Who would ever want socialism? Because all of these challenge your authority. They challenge your money, your power. And it gives some of it to us so we can have a more democratic, fair society. But you don't want that. You don't want that. And so they'll demonize anything that challenges that. And that's where I'm at, man. So anyway, just bring it all the way back home. That's my whole point, and even being on social media, because I'm tired of this shit. You know what I'm saying? I tried to establish this channel so I could build up a large enough following, and that hopefully enough people within that following would feel just as pissed off as I am about this system, about how racist this system is, how unfair and xenophobic this system is, but basically just how it's just shitty towards regular average workers, while at the same time it puts on a pedestal people like Bezos and fucking Musk. Fuck these people. They only got their position, A, because of racism, you know what I'm saying? Because they were able to get the capital that black people and other brown people historically haven't been privy to. You know what I'm saying? So y'all starting off with the capital in order to invest that capital into other shit to make more money for yourself. We're not allowed. We weren't historically given access to that. And still don't. I'm not saying some of us don't break through, but it's just a trend. You know what I'm saying? They don't want us to do it. So anyway. I'm doing all this so hopefully enough people I can inspire to like join me. We can exchange phone numbers or addresses or emails or whatever. But I'm trying to find some people who are like-minded, who are tired of this neoliberal, hegemonic, capitalist system, who want to see better, who want a more, fuck it, I'm gonna stop using flowery language, who want to see socialism take the place of capitalism in this country, and who are willing to fight for that, basically. Like, that's what I'm about. I'm trying to find people who I can, like, you know, we can sit down and discuss ways that we can try to come together and devise a way to fight back against the powers. You know what I'm saying? Because really, in all honesty, the only tool we have to fight back is unity and organizing. Like, we have to be organized. You gotta unionize your workplaces. If you don't work somewhere that has a union, you got to get a union. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully your union and then this union and that union and this union, we can all come together and make a big, one large union of people who vote, so that we can use that power in order to sway politicians to craft legislation that benefits us and not the corporate sector, not the 99, or not the 1%, but legislation that benefits the 99%. Legislation that benefits regular working Americans like me and you. Because right now, all the legislation benefits the rich. And that shit's got to end, man. So that's where I'm at. If you a socialist, if you identify with socialism, if you identify with communism, and you're ready to fight, and you live in America, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And you're an American. And I mean, like, not no bullshit. Like, I mean, seriously, like if you ain't reading about this shit, like you ain't constantly reading articles and proposed legislation books on the subject matter. Like, I mean, if you're not taking it seriously, then like, don't really waste my time. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like, if you really ready, like you ready to fight and you're tired of this shit and you ready to take this shit to the man, you know what I'm saying? Then that's who I'm looking for. That's who I'm trying to like link up with so that we can do something, man. Like, cause we just got too much power. We got too much power. Like, it's too many of us. It's too many of us against the few of them. The few is a handful of motherfuckers that run the country. But the rest of us, this vast sea of people that we are, the working class, have all this power because we do all the work. This country will shut the fuck down if we don't all show up to work. If every single one of us didn't show up to work, wherever our work may be, what are they going to do? You know what I'm saying? They're going to have to give us what we want in order to get us to come back to work. That's how striking works. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point of it. Like, that's the whole point of striking. You're the ones who do all the work. There is no company without us doing the work. You know what I'm saying? So until you give us what we require in order to continue to do this job, we're not going to do this job. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works. You know, otherwise, or I guess you could come, Jeff Bezos, you can come fulfill these orders yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can come and build the shit yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is, you can do it yourself then, motherfucker. You don't want to pay me enough to do it. You allowed to be billionaire on top of billionaire. You know what I'm saying? But I can't just have a couple thousand. I'm not even trying to be rich. I just want to just have a little bit more than just enough to keep getting to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all we want. Like, some of us want to be rich, sure. You know what I'm saying? But some of us just want to have enough to not have to worry every day about regular ass shit, like where I'm going to live or how I'm going to pay for where I live at, how I'm going to pay for the food I need to eat. You know, I mean, just all this shit that we shouldn't have to. I'm going to pay for this doctor visit. Like, why I got to pay to see the doctor? We all get fucked up. We humans are imperfect. Like, why we got to pay? I'm not saying they shouldn't be paid, but I'm just saying, why do we individually have to do it like we at Walmart or some shit? Just, I'd like to get one colonoscopy. I need something for the check on this ache I got in my shoulder. Like, I mean, we don't get to do that. We go in there, they tell us what's wrong. They say, here, this is the medicine you're going to take. And this is what you know what I'm saying? If anything, the only choice you really have is what pharmacy you're going to pick the medication up from. You know, other than that, you didn't really have much choice in anything else. You had to pick the doctor that was in your network. You know what I'm saying? And that network was, you know, dictated by the company that the company you work for decided to get a contract with. You know what I'm saying? Like, they decided, okay, we'll go with Blue Cross Blue Shield for our insurance. You didn't have a say in that matter. They just said, this is what insurance we offer. And you, as an employee here, are going to either take it or you ain't. Like, so if you decide to take it, all right. You know, it's like, what, how much choice is that? Like, how is that freedom of, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not options. That's, oh, I have this job, so I have to take this insurance. You know what I'm saying? And then that means I can only go see certain doctors because the doctors I would prefer aren't in their network. So all this bullshit, all this bureaucratic bullshit that's not even important, but we only do it because of capitalism, because of money. It's not like that in Germany. Shit, fuck Germany. It's not like that at the VA, motherfucker. If you're a veteran, you know what I'm saying, and you weren't kicked out, you know what I'm saying, you can just go get seen at the VA. I don't care what your problem is. There's no money involved, no bills. You know what I'm saying? Why we can't extend that to every American? Why only veterans? Veterans is the only motherfuckers in this country, for the most part, who have Medicare for all. You know what I'm saying? You don't pay for shit. You just go to the VA, dog. Whatever it is, they take care of you. And you're not about to get a bill in the mail. Talk about, you know what I'm saying? Nah. It's billed to the government. The government take care of it. You know what I'm saying? Why we can't do that for everybody? Like we ain't got the, we got the money. Stop believing it when they tell you we ain't got the money. To stop believing that shit. Because until they can stop spending $858 billion in one calendar year on the military, when we ain't even at war with nobody, then motherfucker, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear we ain't got the money to fix homelessness or starvation or to give everybody free college or to raise the minimum wage to $20 an hour. I don't want to hear it. We got the money. Y'all just don't want to give it to us. Y'all want to keep giving it to Raytheon and Boeing and Honeywell and Northrop Grumman. You want to keep giving all the money to them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So they can keep pillaging and other brown people in their countries, taking their resources. This ain't defense spending. This is terrorist spending. That's what we doing because we involved in. That's what we do across the world. You know what I'm saying? That's what America does. Our foreign policy is terrorism. That's what we engage in. We don't go help nobody. That's not our thing. We're not the world's police. No, we the world's boogeyman, motherfucker. We the world's criminal. Goddammit. You know what I'm saying? That's what the fuck we are. You know what I'm saying? We ain't never been the good guy. I mean, it might have been like once or twice in the history of the United States where we were the good guy. Every other instance, we were the bad guy. Fuck out of here. Fuck you mean. You know what I'm saying? And anyone who reads or knows they motherfucking American history will know that that's a true statement. It's just not that hard. Like, if you read anything, actual books, not just, well, Ben Shapiro said this, so it must be true. Tucker Carlson said this, so it must be true. And Laura Ingraham said, Hannity said, Alex Jones said, so it must be true. It's like, well, I guess so. If you too fucking lazy to go read anything yourself, I can tell you anything. That don't take nothing like I say. Don't take nothing I say. Don't believe shit I say. I don't know what I'm talking about. How about that? Don't believe shit I say. Go look it up. Go look it up for yourself. Go find you a book on the subject and see if what I'm telling you corresponds to what you're reading. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. I don't take shit nobody say is well, you said it. That must be true. Buddy. I'll take it. I'll hear what you say. Then I'm like, all right, now let's go look that up. Let's go see. Let's see if that if that matches basically something that I've read on the subject. You know what I'm saying? Because if it don't, then either there's a miscommunication. Maybe I didn't understand what I was reading. You know what I'm saying? Or perhaps I need to read more on the subject because maybe something was being left out, in the subject matter that I already read. So I'm just saying, like, I am not one of these dumbass Americans whose entire opinion is formulated by what somebody else said. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time for that shit. Everybody got their own agenda. You know what I'm saying? So whatever I believe is because I read enough about it to form my opinion on it. You know what I'm saying? And not just somebody on TV said it, so that's why I believe it. And it seems true. I ain't got time for seeing shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time for that. Them motherfuckers know. They was like, the only way you could really convincingly lie about some shit is if you know about the shit yourself. So that you know enough about the subject that you can now finesse the subject to somebody who knows nothing about the subject. Now you can play on it and finesse it and finagle how you want to. You know what I'm saying? Because you know the subject. But if you don't know the subject, then you'll believe whatever I say because I know how to play on your ignorance. That's what I'm saying. Don't trust shit. Like, whatever you hear, I don't care if it pisses you off or if it makes you feel good. Go and make sure that shit is true. I'm like, for instance, I'm tired of all this shit. I'm tired of all this shit on TV about what might happen to Trump. Who cares? Like, first of all, at the end of the day, that is still a rich white dude in America. Like, when has that ever, you know what I'm saying? Like, when have they ever really, you know what I'm saying, gone to prison? Only time that happened is if you fucked over other rich white dudes. That's the only time you going to prison, motherfucker. Like Sam Bankman-Fried, Bernie Madoff. Y'all pissed off and fucked over rich, wealthy motherfuckers. Like, y'all going to prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, but anyone else, they don't give a fuck how many people you hurt, how many lies you told, how many, they don't, none of it. How many other crimes you broke, doesn't matter. You're a rich white man in America. We'll find some way to get you off. You know what I'm saying? Or to make your punishment so light that to the average person don't even seem like a punishment. That's what I'm used to. So let's stop with all the fucking trying to get a motherfucker hard up on the possibility that Trump might get handcuffed. He might go to jail. But motherfucker, first of all, look, all of us who hate Trump would love to see that. But we're realistic in understanding that that's never going to happen, son. I don't give a fuck. I can't not give a fuck hard enough about this whole Trump shit. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, nothing's going to happen. I don't care. But let's say at the end of the day, let's say they find him guilty and actually give him jail time. Let's say that happens. How does that help me? How does that help my situation? What is that? How does Trump being in jail do anything about the environment or cut defense spending or raise the wages or help get more businesses unionized? Like how does putting him in prison help anything? You know what I'm saying? I mean, sure, you're setting the state like the message, that, like basically making him the poster child, I guess it was, or setting an example so that no one else in the future tries to do what he did. It's like, so I'll give you that. But this constant news coverage of it is like, y'all just trying to like, it's just porn. It's porn for the left. Like, that's how I look at it. It's just porn for the left. It's political porn for the left. And I ain't got time for that shit. Like, I don't got time. Yeah, I don't like Trump, but constantly shitting on him doesn't do any good for anybody. You know what I'm saying? I constantly shit on Biden, but I understand that that's not helping anything. You know what I'm saying? I can't stand Biden. Yes, I voted for him, but begrudgingly so. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like I couldn't wait to vote for Biden. I was excited about Biden. I would have been excited about a cricket over Trump. You know what I'm saying? He's just so fucking... Now, don't get me wrong. Both of them are terrible people. Both of them are horrible people. You know what I'm saying? Both of them are racist. Period. You know what I'm saying? It's just one isn't as overt about it as the other. So it makes it a little bit easier to swallow. That's the only reason why he got the vote. But I ain't out here all rah for Joe Biden. I'm not that kind of person. I don't put any of my allegiance, faith, or all my belief in any man, in any air-breathing, blood-bleeding motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just another human being, dog. Like, I'm not all about the like, Trump, yeah, Trump. It's like, bruh, how about America, America, not Trump. Like, ooh, he's just some fucking asshole. That to me is pathetic. It's just pathetic and sad. And it's not very alpha male behavior to be so beta, ass kissy, kissing the ring of the fuck of another man who is also not an alpha. Like, what type of shit is this? Like, I mean, but I'm no different about the people who vehemently defend Obama, who vehemently defend Biden. Like, bruh, both of these, first of all, they both are part of the reason why we got Trump in the first place, period. Okay, well, let's just keep that out there. Second of all, bruh, Biden is trash, bruh. Just I mean, I wore the shirt. I had it made. When people are like, oh, I like that shirt, I need one. I'm like, well, you can buy it. You know what I'm saying? I got it at my merch store. But yeah, I had that made for a multitude of reasons. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have a Trump is trash shirt because, well, that was obvious. You know what I'm saying? That was obvious. Plus, I feel like most people narrow-mindedly so just assume that because I'm black that I'm immediately for the Democrat. I mean, you would have been right, but it ain't because I'm black. It's because I'm voting for who is the more sane person. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, but yeah, so I didn't get that shirt because it was obvious. I got the Biden is trash because I voted for you. So now, because you got my vote, even though I was never excited about it, but nonetheless, you got my vote. So because now you got my vote, now I'm personally upset when you don't do some shit or when you lie to my face. I didn't vote for Trump. So whatever he said and did, it was like, oh, that's fucked up, but I didn't vote for you. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't expecting you to do anything for me. But Biden was talking a good game. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, at the end of the day, he wasn't Trump. So he was going to get my vote, period, because he's not Trump. Anybody other than Trump, goddamn it. Well, not anybody, but damn near anybody. You know, I mean, Biden is damn near anybody. You know what I'm saying? So that's why he got my vote. But, bruh, because you got my vote, now I'm like, all right, well, where was the $2,000 stimulus checks, bruh, that you lied about giving us? And motherfuckers on the left defending him be so quick to be like, oh, no, he did. He gave us $1,400. Remember, we got the $600 check, then he gave us the $1,400. I'm like, but that ain't what he said. I don't care. That's not what he said when he was campaigning. He said, I'm going to give you a $2,000 check. Just like when Raphael Warnock was campaigning around that same time. He even put the little picture of the government stimulus check that said 2,000. It didn't say 1,400. It said 2,000 on it. Y'all was running that game. Then when you actually got the power, now you're like, all right, I'll give you 1,400. Like, motherfucker, you ain't give us 2,000. You gave us 1,400. Trump gave us 600. You know what I'm saying? To make it 2,000. So you lied about that. Then you're gonna tell us, oh, well, I can't raise the minimum wage because, Senate parliamentarian. It's like, when in the history of you paying attention to the politics have you ever heard the Senate parliamentarian be brought up? Like, man, who the fuck is the Senate parliament? Get the fuck out of here. Like, if you wanted to raise the minimum wage, you could have just did it. You didn't need a Senate parliamentarian. Or you could have did what Trump would have did. Trump would have been like, I want to do this. The Senate parliamentarian would have been like, no, I don't think you should. And then Trump would have been like, well, you're fucking fired. And this dude's hired. And then let's try this again. I want to do this. And the Senate parliamentarian would have been like, yeah, me too. And he'd be like, yeah, good job. We're doing it. I'm like, why we couldn't do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, Trump is terrible, but at least he was getting his way. You know what I'm saying? Like, for the most part, he was getting what he wanted. It was like, because motherfuckers were scared of his ass. They were scared to tell him no. It's like, why we can't have that? Where the motherfucker on the left where motherfuckers is afraid to tell him no? And it's like that motherfucker come in like, I want to give everybody $20 minimum wage. And I wish you would say something. And it's like, and everybody like, oh, okay, Mr. President, well, $20 it is. I vote for it, It's like, no matter what it is, they scared of them, so they'll do it. It's like, where is that on our side? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous. Where is that on the left? Anyway, so you lied about that. Then you're going to have Nancy Pelosi say, well, he can't just do away with the student loan debt. That's got to go through Congress, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, nope, straight out, flat out lie. Like, nope, because there was a provision. I forget what provision, but if you really want to know, I can go find it. In the COVID bill, I think it was, where basically it made it so that you could just do away with the debt of people in college. You know what I'm saying? It's like, as long as it was federal debt, like, I don't think he couldn't do away with like state debt, but if it was like federal student loans, he could just wipe them out. Zero. You know what I'm saying? He did it for the fucking for-profit colleges arbitrarily. And there's nothing in the fucking Constitution that says, well, he can do that as long as it's a for-profit college. It didn't say that. He just chose to use the for-profit colleges to not go as far as he could have. But if he can do it for them, he can do it for every single college where someone has a federal student loan out. He can just wipe away the debt. He does not need Congress's approval. That was a lie when Nancy Pelosi told us. Hey, she knew she was lying when she told us. That's why I'm like, man, fuck that lying ass cunt. All she ever does is lie. Lie and virtue signal. Lying ass, virtue signal ass. I can't stand that bitch. I can't fucking stand Nancy Pelosi, bro. Can't fucking stand her. I hate her like MAGA heads hate fucking Biden. Like, I can't stand Nancy Pelosi. Like, that bitch makes my skin crawl. You know what I'm saying? But anyway. We got to come together, y'all. We got to come together. We got to stop being divided. We got to stop acting like, you know what I'm saying? Like we really are different teams. We all on the same team. Just quit listening to the powers that be. Quit listening to the people on TV. You know what I'm saying? Quit listening to these people. Quit listening to Steve Bannon. These motherfuckers don't got your interests at heart. They're only looking out for their own interests, the interests of the powerful. They don't care about you. I don't care what words they use. I don't care, how much they're pissing off the libs and how that just warms your heart inside to see the libs just go fucking nuts. It's like, how is that helping your life out? Like, that's not helping you. That's not putting any more money in your tank or gas in your tank. There's not putting any more food on your table. That's not lowering any of your bills or lowering any of your debt. That's not making your burden at the hospital any less cumbersome. You know what I'm saying? Because he pissing libs off. Like, really? Is that where we're at? Middle school? Oh, he got the last word in. Oh, Baldy, you stupid poo-poo head. Ah! Like, is that where we at? That's all that matters? They piss off libs. That's all that matters for you. You could be poor, homeless, and starving, but as long as the libs are mad, you're happy. It's like, you are pathetic. You really are a garbage human being. If that's all that matters to you, is pissing other people off. Like, I hope you don't call yourself Christian. Actually, I do. Because I really wouldn't expect anything less from a Christian. You know what I mean? Like, Christians behave that way. Satanists don't. We don't behave that way, but Christians will, though. That's kind of their thing. You know what I'm saying? So I actually would expect that. It's just ridiculousness. Anyway. Woo! I need a cigarette. Doesn't pay people to be homeless. What? Doesn't Cali pay people to be homeless? I don't fucking know. But no. What sense would it make to pay people to be homeless? Stop. See, this is what I'm talking about. Where did you hear that? Because you didn't read that nowhere, motherfucker. Where did you hear that at? Who told you that? Because if you really want to know, you could just Google it right now. Whatever it is you want to know. If I haven't touched on the subject that you're like, I'm not sure about that, Google it. Go find out, you know. Or better yet, Google the subject matter at bookshop.org. Go to bookshop.org, type in the search word, whatever it is, you know. Homelessness, capitalism, neoliberalism, God, whatever it is. And then it'll show up a whole bunch of books on that subject, and just pick one and read that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Read, goddammit. They don't want you to read. I told you, they're quicker to burn a book than they are to encourage you to read one. I'm telling you, they don't want you to know shit. They want you to just take what they're saying as gospel and then act accordingly. They don't want you to read nothing. They don't want you to learn. They don't want you to get educated. They want you to take what they're saying as fact and then run with that information. And that's the only reason why they're even able to get away with the half the shit they say, because they clearly, Americans don't read. Like, enough of us don't fucking. We'll just take whatever someone said as the truth and just run with it. Like, we don't believe in reading. We don't want to go look up news articles or official reports or none of that shit. We just want to turn on the television and have somebody tell us what to believe. You know? And that's what's sad. Like, none of us want to go actually do any research. Real research. Not go look at another website, motherfucker. Real research. You know? I'm not saying websites aren't involved in that research. I mean, you don't know how many Adobe document files I done downloaded to read, because, I mean, that's how you find legislation. Like, that's how I found what bills are being considered, what's in the bill, who sponsored the bill, who voted for it or against the bill. You know, how will that impact me in Ohio? That's what I'm doing. You know, that's how you research. How does that legislation, you know, how will this new legislation potentially interact or interfere with current legislation on the same subject? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but motherfuckers don't want to. They'll just go to some website, some social media, somebody that they like will say one thing, and they'll believe it because it makes them feel good, whether it's true or not. But as long as it's owning the libs, doesn't matter if it's true or not. Hey, you know. And I just ain't got time for that. I only want people on my team who read, who really understand what capitalism is and why it's so terrible, who understand what neoliberalism is and why it's so terrible, and who understands the whole concept of American hegemony. Like, if you don't understand those three things, I don't really know what the fuck we're doing here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's my whole point. It's like, I'm trying to get people to understand the nature of capitalism, what the inherent nature of capitalism, and why no individual capitalist, no matter how good they are, how nice they are, will never be able to change the system that gave them the power that they have. Like, they're never going to be in the business of doing away with that. Like, it's going to have to be us. It's always been us who have ever gotten these. If there's anything in this life that you enjoy now, understand that didn't just happen. Somebody had to fight for that shit for you to have that. Somebody at some point in time had to go through some shit for you to have that thing you just take for granted. You know what I'm saying? I'm done taking shit for granted, all right? I don't even see how I could take anything for granted. I am a black dude in a country that was founded on white supremacy. It stole people from another country, brought them to the country on land that they stole from another motherfucker, and that motherfucker they getting killed off for the most part. and then had the people they stole from the other country come to this stolen land and do all the work and get no money for it, no pay, not even a thank you. You know what I'm saying? That's what this country has been, you know. And to this day, it's like, we don't even want to talk about it. We don't even want to talk about it. We call it CRT, and then be damned if we teach it to your child. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, we ain't even teaching that. Like, this Black History Month. What they supposed to do? How you gonna teach Black History on Black History Month in a country that don't want you to teach nothing about race relations in America? Like, they don't want you to know. They want the oppressed to stay oppressed, because the more ignorant you stay, you know what I'm saying, and the more that those people who are keeping you ignorant can continue doing what they're doing, because you'll have no knowledge of what's going on, or and let alone any way to combat what's going on. You won't even know what's happening, let alone can fight against it, you know? Like, so that's my mission. It's like, I'm trying to at least tell people, like, bruh, can you understand that whatever problem you have in life is probably because of capitalism, and it's probably even more specifically because of neoliberal agendas. Like, but until you understand that, you'll never really, you know what I'm saying? It's like, people just be like, oh, life's fucked up, and that's just how it is. And it's like, that's not just how it is. That's how neoliberalism is. That is how capitalism is. And we can change those things. You know what I'm saying? We can make them things work for us and not just the few. Like, aren't you tired of that? Like, aren't you fucking tired of this? Like, goddamn. Like, you gotta go to fucking work every day at a fucking job that you think you like. You know, like, oh, I like going to work every day. Man, that's just you, bro. That's you making lemonade out of lemons. I don't mind my job. I like the people I work with. Shut up. You know, that's like slaves going to the plantation. Like, oh, I like being a slave. You know, the other people I slave with are fucking cool, man. You know, it's not so bad. We're outside getting exercise. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, that's you. That's a motherfucker who defends, like, oh, I don't mind my job. I got a good job. I like it. You know, even though my labor is being exploited every single day. And, you know, but hey, I like my job. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody like their job. Nobody likes having their labor exploited. What the fuck is this about? Who likes being exploited? Who likes knowing that the work they do all day, they're not going to be compensated for the amount of work that they produced? Like, I'm not saying they weren't going to pay you something. Of course they have to pay you. But they're not going to pay you what you're really worth. They're not going to pay you what you're worth or what you helped that company to amass. Like, they're just not. They're going to pay you a fraction of that, you know? And it's not even a decent fraction, make it so bad. It's just, aren't you tired of that shit? Aren't you tired? Aren't you tired of getting paid? And then by come next paycheck, you was already broke for the last couple days. You couldn't wait for that next paycheck to come just to be broke again in another few days. Isn't that fucking getting tiring? Like, isn't that fucking old? And it's not your fault because you don't know enough, or because you didn't invent something to sell, or because you don't have enough talent to be rich, or it has nothing to do with that. Like, this country is built on exploiting workers. That is how capitalism works. You need people to exploit in order for a few people to get all the money. Like, that's the only way that happens. Otherwise, those people will have to go do the work themselves. Because that's how it will work in a socialist society. If you did it, then you get all the money, you know. Why would, if you didn't touch this item at all, you had nothing to do with the process of this thing becoming this, you know, but for some reason you get all the money and I get crumbs. I'm the motherfucker who has to come here every day, day after day, week after week, month after month, slaving away just to get the crumbs you pay me on my paycheck. And you, who never even stepped foot in the warehouse, not once ever in any warehouse, get to get all the money from the fruits of my labor. That is some bullshit. Like, that's bullshit. And it's been like that since the 80s. Since neoliberalism was implemented under Reagan. And then exacerbated by every president since, you know. I'm tired of this shit. They don't want you to pay attention. They want you to pay attention to these fucking bullshit, you know, culture war issues. They want you to pay attention to that. They don't want you to understand that there's so many people in this country going on strike company after company after company got workers on strike like a motherfucker. You probably didn't even know about it because the mainstream media ain't telling you. They don't want you to know. They want you to turn on the evening news last night. I bet they don't say nothing about strikes in America. Bet they ain't say nothing, like there ain't no strike going on right now. But if you turn it to Democracy Now, strikes all over the place, bro. Because we're tired of this shit. But the mainstream media don't want you to know that you're not alone. They don't want you to know that there's other people in this country who feel the same way you do, and they're taken to the fucking streets. They don't want you to know because they don't want you to get involved. They don't want you to think. They want you to think you're all alone, so you'll just shut the fuck up, keep your head down, and just keep taking it up the ass. You know. When no, there's other people in this country who feel the same way as you do. They're just as pissed off as you are, and they're willing to do so. They're in the streets. They're protesting. They're fucking picketing and striking and all kind of shit. But they don't want to tell you. They don't want to tell you. I know because I watch the real news. You know what I'm saying? I watch Democracy Now. You know what I'm saying? I watch the Majority Report and the Humanist Report or Secular Talk, you know, or the Rational National, you know, or Hasanabi, you know, or you know what I'm saying? Like I'm listening to the people who give me the truth and the real, but who come from a left perspective. Because most everybody I just told you about is either a democratic socialist or a socialist. Or lean more socialist than anything. You know what I'm saying? So those are the channels I watch. But again, I don't even take what they say as gospel. Whatever they say, it better coincide with some shit that I know to be facts. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's something I don't know, I ain't heard, I'll be like, oh, that's interesting. And then I'll go look it up. And then we'll go see. Let's find out if what you just said is true, whether I like what I heard or not. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I am. You ain't about to just tell me shit. I'm going to find out. Now, if I find out and I find out what you said was true, then maybe I'll start taking what you say at face value from here forward. But just on the jump, nah, bro, I need to know for myself if what you're saying is true, whether or not I feel good about what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? We don't get a Skid Row in Sweden, that's for sure. I know you don't. I know you don't. Like, I'm trying to come to Sweden, bro. Hi, you're a Satanist. Yes, and don't let that be such a bad thing. Like, again, Satanism is all about standing up for the marginalized communities, having the backs of those who don't have a voice. You know what I'm saying? It's all about being good to one another, doing charity, doing good works, being a decent person, and believing in science over all else. That's what Satanism is about, and activism. If you're a member of the Satanic Temple, it's about activism. You know what I'm saying? Women's rights, you know, gay people's rights, immigrant rights. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we fight for. Like, I don't know no Christians doing that. I'm not saying they ain't doing it, but I'm just saying, like, ain't none of my subscribers are doing any of that shit. They don't even read their whole Bible, but they so quick to tell me I need to stop being a Satanist. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, at least I'm doing shit. At least I'm helping. I'm trying to be a part of the solution. Well, all you're doing is talking. You know, so quick to judge. You a Satanist? Yes, I'm a Satanist. If you really want to know what Satanism is about, there's plenty of videos on the subject. I even put some in my community. If you go to my homepage, go to community and keep scrolling down, you'll see some of the videos I put up that explain communism, socialism, Satanism, atheistic Satanism. So if you're really interested, I got some videos on the shit that can explain it better than I can. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can explain it to you. I just gave you the gist of it. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much about being a decent person, being a good person, a helpful, you know, if you can help, then we do help. You know, it's about being a decent person. We're never going to start wars and kill people because they don't think how we think. Like, that's not what Satanism is. That's Christianity for you. Christianity will have you fucking either assimilate or die. Like, that's not what we're about. Okay? So if anything, Satanism is morally better than Christianity. Sorry, I hate to break it to you, but that's just the truth. There has been no bloodshed in the name of Satan. And even if there was, it pales in comparison to the amount of bloodshed done in the name of a God. So save it, you know. Anywho, what else we got? you on that, but we can't be like that, man. We got to bring everybody in. You know what I'm saying? As much as I can't fucking stand hypocritical ass, judgmental ass Christians, they're still a part of the working class, as am I. So therefore, we're on the same team, and we got to fight for one another. I need you just like you need me. You know what I mean? We need each other to fight back against the fucking elites in Washington. We got to, man. We just have to. We got to put aside all these petty differences. We just do. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't matter. Now, at the end of the day, now, if we ever get this society that we want, that works more for the people and not the few, then maybe we can start focusing on this bullshit, you know, these petty little differences. But I would imagine that if we had that kind of society, we'd be so much better off. We wouldn't even have the energy to put into that bullshit because life is better. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have the right to do this or do that or do that. And if you don't agree with it, then don't do it, you know? But it shouldn't be not one religious doctrine that is setting the stage for all the rest of us. Like, that's not how it's supposed to work. Not in a secular nation like the United States. Not supposed to work that way. It's gonna come to when you're over 60, can't work for some reason, you're screwed. Yeah, I mean, we already there. Like, we're already there. My grandfather worked for 39 years at the same plant. When he started there, the only jobs black people could do then was sweep the floor. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what he did when he first started there. But he eventually, you know, made his way up to where he had enough money to have a house on land. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was able to get a house from my mom. You know, I mean, he had a career. But at the end of the day, after 39 years, because of neoliberalism, he wasn't able to he retired, but he wasn't able to stop working. You know what I mean? He still had to go do odd jobs here and there. I mean, he died working, you know. I mean, he literally died in his fucking, you know, mechanic's jumpsuit. I mean, he wasn't a mechanic, but I mean, he was like a jack of all trades, master of none, you know. He was that kind of guy. So, I mean, he died working, basically, you know what I mean? Like, so you can't, and he was 80 something years old, you know, still out here trying to paint and do roofs and shit, you know what I mean? Because God forbid, we don't live in a country anymore where you can just kick back and relax in your old age and just enjoy your retirement. Like, nah, we're not there anymore. We're in the country where like 92-year-old Walmart workers are still having to work because they ain't got enough money to retire unless some rando trying to make fucking YouTube content comes along with a camera, GoFundMe the shit, and then people like you and me pay so this old guy can fucking retire. It's like, that's the country we live in. Like, it's so fucking depraved. We don't give a shit about poor people, black people, old people. We only purport to give a slight of a fuck as long as you're able to go and produce and make money and work and add to the economy and the GDP. If you ain't able to do that, then you're just a fucking leech and a parasite, and we could give a fuck less about you. You know, that is what this country tells its constituents. That if you ain't rich, preferably a white man who is straight, we don't give a fuck about you. Like, and so the more you deviate from rich, white, straight man, the less they give a fuck about you. You know what I'm saying? So you're a white man, but you ain't straight, give a little less fuck. You a straight, rich man, but you ain't white, even less of a fuck. Straight, rich, white man who's not gay, or no, straight, white man who's not gay, but he ain't rich, even less of a fuck. You know what I'm saying? It just keeps going down. Then, God forbid you be black, even more less of a fuck. It let you be a black woman, even less of a fuck. Like, it just keeps going down. And then, so God, and this is assuming that any of these people have money, because as soon as you take money away from the equation, it doesn't matter what you look like, what you believe in, it's just fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Because if you poor, we don't give a fuck what you believe. We don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck. Dog, like, that's how this country is, straight up. If you ain't rich, they don't give a fuck about you. I mean, what more proof do you need? Like, I mean, you can't live anywhere in this country unless you're rich. Like, or unless it's two of y'all working y'all asses off, you know, just to make the mortgage or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? And that's assuming that you had a college degree of some kind, you know, that you were able to parlay into a fucking career, where most of us nowadays this isn't me included, but I mean, like, most of us, you know, millennials, Gen Zers, Generation Xers or whatever, we
We can't do it. We can't do it. Like, we gotta go to work, motherfucker. Like, we gotta work our asses off. 2 jobs and all that, and still ain't enough to buy a house. Can't go to college. College too goddamn expensive. What else to do? Graduate college and then what? Now I got debt that I didn't even have for a degree that I can't do nothing with. Like, I ain't got, man, that's why I'm telling you, this country, like, they don't want you to live here if you ain't rich. Like, straight up. But that's only because capitalism is the dominating narrative. If it wasn't capitalism, then it wouldn't be this bad. Like, being rich wouldn't be so important. In fact, it wouldn't be anything, But because capitalism is the dominating narrative, enhanced by neoliberalism, that's why everything's so fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So fucked up. So fucked up. And when I say neoliberalism, I don't want you to confuse neoliberalism with being a liberal. Like, those are two different. I know the word is in there, and you're like, oh, neo. No, it's not the same. Not the same at all. So I would urge you to look up neoliberalism if you don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? But basically, in a nutshell, neoliberalism is just saying that the free market economy can take care of all of the society's problems. Which is bullshit, clearly, but I mean that is the neoliberal thought, that the so-called free market economy can take care of all of our issues, all of them, But it doesn't take in consideration the inherent greed that is just a function of capitalism. Like, it's the two things. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be because, like, the whole idea of free market capitalism being, or neoliberalism, a free market economy being the mechanism that fixes all of society's ills. But it's that thinking is predicated on the notion that people who have the money will then use that money to help out those beneath them. When we all know that's not how it works. Like, when the motherfuckers with the money only help out themselves. They don't invest that money back into the employees. They give it to their shareholders, or they save it, just add it to their accumulated, hoarded wealth. Like, they don't give it back into the economy. They don't spend it on shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we workers would do. If we had that money, we would go and buy shit. Like, probably because we need it. You know what I'm saying? Like, not just frivolous bullshit. We need groceries. We need gas. We got to pay this motherfucker back or that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, but that's how neoliberalism. But so neoliberalism is based on the idea that capitalism works best when you just let the free market do its thing, and it will take care of all the society's problems. But that's not how neoliberalism works. Like, these motherfuckers are capitalists at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, it's all about short-term profits. I don't care about your life. I don't even care about long-term profits or sustainability. It's all about short-term profits. That is what neoliberalism is about. Okay. The free market can remedy all of the society's concerns and problems. Okay, that's the first one. They just let the free market do what it wants, and that's not at all how it works. It's just not at all how it works. Because capitalism is just too greedy. It's inherently greedy, and therefore, if helping you out will make me money in the long run, I can't do it. Because if helping you out doesn't make me more money by the end of this fiscal quarter, then I can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm sorry. Like, and that's just how capitalism is. That is the inherent nature of capitalism. It's ruthless. It's cutthroat. It's greedy. And neoliberalism just, it's like giving it a shot of fucking steroids or some shit. It just makes it worse. Like, it's just making capitalism, the monster it is, an even worse monster. And that's why your life sucks. That's why your life sucks. That's why my life sucks. I don't give a fuck how much smiling and dancing. Like, I'm not living my best life. Like, we are all living under the neoliberal period. This shit is ruining all of us. It done damaged this goddamn ecosystem. The global warming is out of control. Homelessness is out of control. Starvation is out of control. People dumber than ever. Ain't nobody reading this shit. We just stupid over here, lazy, and just all about hedonistic endeavors. Just, I want to fucking go. Let's go out to eat. Let's go shop. Let's go watch this and let's go watch that. And you know what I mean? Like, let's just participate in the economy and not pay any attention to none of the other shit that's going on out here. Because that's what they want you to do. They want you to continue on worrying about social justice issues and what's on Twitter and what did Trump say and who's going to be at the Super Bowl and is Tom Brady really retiring. That's what they want you to worry about. They want you to focus on all this bull, stupid, fucking dumbass ancillary nonsense as opposed to what's really going on, because you can't take your eyes off the ball. Like, you can't lose sight of the prize. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the moment you're pacified with spending and holidays and religion, you know, and Christmas, you know, Amazon Prime, and like, I mean, as long as you're all like just focused on just living in this society and not trying to like further the struggle, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to further women's suffrage or the civil rights movement, like we've just reached all that. We're just happy with what we got. We're cool with all of us just being exploited to the death, while a few handful of people get richer and richer and richer and richer, while you continue to struggle week after week after week after week after week, and then not even have enough insight to understand, like, where or have enough intellectual curiosity to realize or understand or to know what is the reason for your suffering. Why does life suck this hard? Why is it so fucking crazy? Because of capitalism and neoliberalism. And once you understand that, then maybe you, like me, will get upset and want to do something about it and just feel like I can't take this shit anymore. Fuck this shit. I'm tired of just going about my day, you know, like they want us to. They don't want you to pay attention to none of this. They hate people like me saying this shit I'm saying. But they don't mind me saying it because I ain't got that big a reach. I'm not like a super mega millionaire, you know what I mean? Or like some huge influencer on fucking TikTok or YouTube where like I got this massive reach that can really get people, you know what I'm saying? Like, can you imagine if Mr. Beast it was this woke? You know, like if Mr. Beast understood the nature of capitalism and neoliberalism and maybe how even his endeavors have maybe played a role in that. If you can imagine, if he were to understand that and just start divulging that information to the people that subscribe to Mr. Beast, and who'll start to think, maybe he's onto something. And maybe they'll start to read some shit or look at other channels that will further educate them on the subject. And they'll be like, whoa, well, hold on. So this capitalism shit is actually fucked up. Well, and maybe you won't be so quick to jump to socialism or communism, but you'll be ready to be done with capitalism. You'll be like, well, this can't continue. Like this shit here can't continue. Like, we got to go to something else. I don't know what this socialism shit is, but it can't be any worse than capitalism. Like, I mean, look at how fucked up capitalism is when you really look at it. I'm telling you, whatever problems you could point out in society, I guarantee you, as something to do with capitalism. I haven't heard a problem yet that someone told me about that I couldn't tie back to capitalism. I'm just telling you, like, I mean, I'm not saying those problems don't exist. Like, some problems are just problems that have no way on earth any correlation to capitalism, but I ain't heard them. Like, because capitalism, I'm telling you, like, capitalism and neoliberalism got their tentacles in every facet of American life. Every facet of American life. So if something in your American life isn't going right, I can almost guarantee you it's probably because of some capitalists or some neoliberal policy that was implemented who knows when, and that's why your life sucks. That's why you don't make no money. That's why gig work sucks. That's why it take forever for fucking Uber, Lyft, or fucking DoorDash or somebody to show up, because ain't nobody doing the job, because more people are understanding that they're not getting paid. You just making, most people who do them jobs, who do DoorDash and shit, most people, I'm not saying there aren't people who don't make a come up, but those are the few and far in between. The majority of people, if they really do the math, will realize that you're only making enough money to continue to DoorDash. Like, you're just making enough money to put gas in the motherfucker and to keep going. Because you're going to need an oil change. I mean, all that extra fucking mileage you putting on your car. They don't give you another vehicle to do that shit. So you put more miles on your shit, on your tires, You know what I'm saying? Your engine oil, you burning your gas. So God forbid you might have a fucking. I'm just telling you, man. Like, if I'm just saying, assuming that was your only job, your only source of income is DoorDash, you are not going to be able to survive on that. Because I did the math, like certain, because it shifts. Some days are better than others. Some days it was like what I was making was equivalent to about $11 to $12 an hour. I'm like, that ain't no money. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Some days it'd be like $15 an hour, which still ain't shit, but at least that's what I make at work, which ain't shit. But I'm saying, like, you know, so it was at least equivalent. But then there'd be days where it's like this shit only come up to about like $9, $10 an hour, dog. It's just too unreliable. You know what I'm saying? Because not enough people are willing to DoorDash once they realize that the money isn't worth it. And it's the same across all the gig economy. All the gig economy, you know what I'm saying? So it's not just DoorDash, it's Uber Eats, it's Uber, it's Lyft, it's Grubhub, it's all of them. Postmates, you know what I'm saying? It's all of them. Because they look at you as an individual contractor. You know what I'm saying? So when you're considered to be a contractor, that means you have your own business. And this company is just using the services your business provides in order to help that business provide its service. But you don't get to set none of the standards. Like, how is this my company, but I'm only delivering DoorDash shit, you know, or DoorDash orders, you know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't my company. Like, I don't get to set the standards and the times. I mean, I can, but it's like, if I don't work from the beginning of the day like everyone else to the end of the day like everyone else, then I don't make no money. And it's like, how is that? Like, I'm just saying, like, you make less than minimum wage in most situations doing gig work than you would if you just got a regular job, you know. Like, I don't mind people doing gig work, but it just in most jurisdictions, I would imagine that it only is beneficial if you use it as to supplement income, but not necessarily to be the main source of income. Because otherwise, you're going to still be struggling, bro. Like, if you ever said, I need to go out here and dash, then that's how I'm telling you, like, you ain't making no money. Like, you shouldn't need to go do shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they paid you enough to do the job, you could probably do it one day and be like, I don't need to do it the rest of the week if you got paid a living wage, you know. But that's the thing. You know, they don't want to pay you a living wage. They want to keep you starving and hungry and desperate so that you'll do whatever job anybody's offering for whatever amount of money they want to pay you because you desperate. You know what I'm saying? And there's so many desperate people that if you ain't willing to accept it, you could fuck off because there's someone else just as desperate, if not more desperate than you, who is willing to accept these horrible working conditions. And it's like, why that got to be the society in which we live? Why that got to be the state of affairs? You know, when there's more of us than there are owners. There's more of us worker class than there are owner class. And we just letting that handful of pieces of shit dictate what happens to all the rest of us who do all the work. These businesses wouldn't even be in business if we didn't show up to work. But we the ones who get screwed over the most. Like, nah, dog. Miss me with that. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to fight. You understand? I'm ready to fucking take this shit to Washington. And I want other motherfuckers with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to just be like something that the politicians have to deal with for a day. I want every time they leave Washington, they leave the White House, they leave Congress, they leave wherever they're leaving to go home for the day, that you got to deal with an army of protesters just to go home. And that's every single day. Because if you can just deal with it for a day, it's like, whatever, we'll be all right. But if every single day you had to deal with this bullshit, you're going to either A, find a way around it, and if that don't work, then you're going to have to concede. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be like, all right, what is it y'all want? So you'll go away. You know? And you're either going to give us what we want or you're not, and we're going to keep doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? And then I guess you can enact more violence, have the police come and have us leave and all that shit, you know, wield the power of the state against its constituents, because the police aren't here to protect and serve unless what they're protecting and serving is the property of the owner class, because that's all they care about is property of the owner class. They don't care about the rest of us. They don't care about your safety. They don't care about solving your crime. It's all about protecting the property of the owner class, period. when keep in mind that when the police were first established after slavery was abolished, was just to round up all of the so-called, slaves who didn't have papers to say that they were free. You know what I mean? Or whatever the fuck it was. Like, it was just a reason to round up black people and put them back into slavery. Because even once they did away with slavery with the 13th Amendment, they didn't completely abolish it. They just got away with it for the most part, but only made it legal under instances of incarceration. So if you're a prisoner, then you can do slavery. Yeah, slavery is allowed. It's just while you're not a prisoner, is slavery not allowed. So we never got rid of slavery. And some states still get away with actual slavery, like right now. Not even in the context of a prison. Like, but they ain't gonna tell you about that. They don't want you to know, because God forbid you know. You might actually do some shit. And they don't want you to do nothing. They don't want you to do nothing. They want you to keep taking it up the ass and shutting the fuck up about it. No, well, you ain't got to really shut the fuck up. I mean, you can go bitch about it on YouTube. You can go bitch about it on Twitter, make a little fucking tweet. You know, you can make an Instagram post or whatever about this shit. You can complain all you want, as long as you do it that way. Don't complain to a whole bunch of people who also complain and feel the way you do, and then all y'all come together and then start demanding shit. It's like, that's what they don't want. They don't want that. They don't want us to be united. They want us to be divided. They want you to think that Democrats and Republicans are really enemies, when at the end of the day, they just like any other fight you used to see in WWE, WWF, WCW. You know what I'm saying? When them motherfuckers, I'll tell you this, brother, I'll kick your ass and all that shit. But at the end of the day, they at each other's houses playing fucking PlayStation or whatever. They homies. Like, it's all performative kabuki theater, dog. And that's what they doing in Washington right now. Them motherfuckers on the left and the right are in the same camp, dog. They all part of the rich owner class, dog. When you gonna see that shit? They don't want us to understand that. They don't want us to understand our class situation. They don't want you to understand the class struggle. Because if you understand that, then you'll understand none of this other shit matters. Or you're a Cowboy fan. You're an Eagles fan. Like, who fucking cares? We got bigger fish to fry. I'm a liberal. He's fucking Trump, MAGA hat. Who cares? Who cares? We're all on the same team. We all gotta go to work to make our money. We're all getting fucked over by the owner class. I don't care. I don't care. Put that shit aside. You know what I'm saying? We gotta come together, goddammit. That's the only way we're gonna do it. I don't know how many times I have to say it. How many people do you need to hear it from? Hassan has said this. Hassan Piker has said this. You know what I'm saying? Noam Chomsky has said this. Cornel West has said this. Ta-Nehisi Coates has said this. Like, everyone I read says the same thing. What's her name? Not Toni Morrison. I think I only got one book. Angela Davis. Even her, everyone who's been part of the struggle has said the same. Martin Luther King even said it. Like, we all have been saying it. The only mechanism we have to fight back against the powerful in Washington, or in this country, period, is organizing and unionizing. That's all we have. So any effort to keep us from doing that, they will exploit that effort. Whatever will keep us fighting at each other's throats over whatever. They will keep amplifying that shit. So we'll be so focused on that and not on the fact that these people don't give a fuck about you and me and going to continue doing what they're doing to us while we're all distracted with each other's mad about M&Ms and shit. Like, we got to wake up, people. We got to wake the fuck up. Straight up. And we got to come together. We got to put our differences aside. We got to come together, y'all. That's all I got. Hail Satan. And I'm out this motherfucker. Yeah.